Hi everyone. I'm going to just give you a brief introduction to product life cycles, and then I'll give you some resources afterwards for you to do some work on this part of the course. So, product life cycles. This is a graph which is called the product life cycle, and the question is, what is it and what might it show? So we can see along the side here on the y-axis, we've got sales, and you can't really see it now, but we've got time going along the x-axis. Oh, actually, I'm just going to make my screen bigger. So we have a graph that shows what's happening to sales over time. So we can see we've got this first section here, which is development, and there are no sales in this section at all. And this is because this is where all the market research happens, where prototypes are being made, perhaps you're doing some focus groups and things like that, and nothing is actually happening in terms of sales, but work has started on the product. At this point here, the product is launched, and this is the start of introduction. Now, in introduction, we start to see some sales, but they're not very high at the moment because the product has only just been launched. People aren't familiar with the product yet. They don't know about it. They don't know whether they like it. There hasn't been any feedback about it. So we've got quite low sales. Now, providing this product is successful, it's going to enter into this stage, which is growth. And sales are going to start increasing fairly rapidly here because perhaps people have told their friends about the product. It's got really good reviews, and we start seeing sales get quite high. Then we have what's called maturity. This is where the product reaches its peak. So the sales growth slows down, but the sales are very, very at the highest point at this stage, and it's very profitable time. And this is called maturity. Now, at some point, the product is going to go into decline. Once people stop buying the product, we'll see sales start to dip. And these are the stages of the product life cycle: development, introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. And you're going to have to know what these are. Okay, so the product life cycle shows the stages that the product goes through from development to withdrawal from the market. Okay, development, introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Right, I'm going to try and move this. Okay, so this is the product life cycle. You need to be able to draw it, and you need to know what those stages are. So we'll draw it when we get back to school. Okay, so different things happen to other parts of the marketing mix at different stages of the life cycle. So here we've got a chocolate bar example. At introduction, what you might see is just one version of the product. So let's say you're launching chocolate bars. You're going to have a basic version. You're going to see what the consumer reaction is. You don't want to invest too heavily in loads of different chocolate bars because you don't know if it's going to be successful. But once you go into growth and maturity, your product's popular, then it's worth the risk and it's worth the money to launch a range of different products. So what you might see is that introduction, very basic examples of whatever the product is. And as we go through growth and maturity, we might see businesses launching more variations of that product. Okay, what happens to the price? Now, when you introduce a product, you're going to be very careful about the price that you charge. So if you've got a really competitive market, so let's say like chocolate bars, there's lots of different chocolate bars on the market. You want people to give your chocolate bar a go. So you might go in with a really low price. And then once people get familiar with the product and they know they like it, as you go into growth and maturity, you might then increase your price to match what your competitors are charging. But if you don't go in with a low price, people might carry on buying from competitors. What you might do as well, if you've got a product that is unique and doesn't have loads of competition, but you've invested heavily in development, you might go in at launch with a high price. Because at that point it's unique. However, as you go through the life cycle, other businesses will see that product's successful and they're going to launch one too. So you're going to have to drop your price as you've been on the market for a longer period of time. Usually in decline, sales are dropping, people are less interested in your product. You would often see price reductions at this time because businesses are trying to clear stock and keep people buying from them. So this is what happens to price at different stages of the life cycle. Unique products usually start with a high price. Products with lots of competitors start at a low price. As you go through the life cycle, prices become more competitive, which means they kind of meet in the middle, similar to competitors, but decline will always see price reductions. Okay, so promotion. Oh, it's kind of in the way there. At the start of the product life cycle, when you've launched it, people don't know what your product is, not familiar with it. So we're going to see in introduction lots of heavy promotion, heavy marketing. As we go into growth and maturity, people already know what the product is, people are already buying it. You don't need to give people information about the product, but you might remind people of the product. So, have lots of branding everywhere, just keep a few adverts available for people to see so they don't forget about your brand. You can't see it here, but obviously the next stage is decline. Here you might have lots of promotion that focuses on like price reductions and big sale and everything to keep people buying your product. Okay, I've gone and put my images right in the way here. So here we've got place. So place is, how are you going to get your product to your customers? Let's see if that'll play. How are you going to get your product to your customers? So we have lots of different options with place. So you can have your own, sell something in your own shop, which is like, maybe one outlet or a website, or you can contact retailers, which are a different business who are going to sell your product for you. Now, if you were to sell to 7-Eleven, that could be on sale in thousands of different outlets. So here we've got introduction. You're not going to make loads of sales, so you're probably going to have your product for sale in your shop or a specially selected outlet. You're not going to make the investment of putting products in every 7-Eleven at this point because it's not popular enough, your product yet. As you go into growth maturity, then you're going to be putting your product into more and more retailers. And when you're in maturity, I think the sections are a bit mixed up here actually. This is maturity here, so ignore what it says on the bottom. As you're in maturity, this is going to mean your product is in the widest range of retailers. So you might have it in department stores or your 7-Elevens. You might have loads of your own outlets. But when it goes into decline, it's going to be removed from shops where it's not profitable. So you're going to keep it only in the shops where it's making a profit. People have stopped buying it. You need to stop wasting money stocking shops with a product that isn't selling. Okay, so briefly, this is what happens to the rest of the marketing mix. There is no set shape for a product life cycle. So this is traditional that we draw, we have our increase in sales, we have maturity, and at some point they decline. Here we have a boom or a classic. So if you think of something like Coca-Cola, that it didn't, go into decline quickly. We've got Coca-Cola, highest selling soft drink, it's still in maturity. This is something that is for sale for a very short amount of time. So probably a lot of your like fashion items and these trainers that Kanye West wears and stuff, very rapid increase in sales. A couple of months later, no one else is buying them. Okay, this is where you might have, a fad, a big peak, everyone buys it, loads of people buy it, but then, we have like a bit of a continuation of sales. This is seasonal sales, so perhaps like, ice cream or something in the summer, not much in the winter, more in the summer, not much in the winter. Okay, this is a revival or nostalgia we've had. So for example, the clothes that I wore in the 90s, we had, big in the 90s, big decline, and then you lot have started wearing 90s stuff again. So we see a resurgence of something that once was popular. Now this is bust because we can't always assume that products are going to go into maturity. A lot of products, they have the launch, introduction, a few sales, actually not very popular, straight into decline. And these products end up not making a profit because the profit happens here in maturity. Okay, so that's briefly product life cycles. Now, there is one last thing to talk about, and that is, what can we do to avoid decline or delay decline? And this is an extension strategy. So here we've got the normal product life cycle, and what would happen, left alone without any intervention, the product goes into decline. However, marketers, they've spent so much money doing market research and development, don't want it to go into decline. So they're going to do activities when they sort of think a decline's about to happen, activities to boost sales and keep sales in that maturity stage. So this is what on a graph, what an extension strategy would look like. And here's some possible extension strategies that could be done. Now, these start getting put in place in maturity. So one might be finding new markets. So let's go back to your 90s clothes. They were very popular with my age group. We all stopped buying them and started, wearing more sensible things. So they found a new market. Well, it's you lot, another group of young people. Or it might be that, your product, really popular in Hong Kong, and people in Hong Kong have stopped buying it. So perhaps you might try and sell your product, in Korea, for example. So you found a new market for the same product because, your existing customers had stopped buying it. It might even be for a different group of people. So it might be that, your sportswear, has gone into decline. Sports people are not buying it anymore. So, you might, sell it to a market that's interested in fashion. And when we say markets, we mean customers. Okay, so finding new uses for a product. This is, everyone, Lucozade was a really good example. That used to be a medicinal drink. That sort of went into decline. People stopped using it for medicine. So then an extension strategy was to launch it as like a sports sort of energy drink kind of thing. And what you might do, you might make adaptations to the product or the packaging as an extension strategy to give it a bit of a boost of appeal, or you might increase promotion at this point. So sales are declining, right? Let's get an advert on the Super Bowl. People are forgetting about our product, and you see a boost in sales. Okay, so just to summarise, the 5 stages to the product life cycle are development, introduction, growth, maturity and decline. Extension strategies can prevent products going into decline, and managers make changes to product, price, promotion and place at different stages of the life cycle. Okay, and that is the end of that video.